What happens when the health of the tribal chief takes a terrifying turn for the worse? Roman Reigns' condition has just spiraled into a shocking new level of danger, and the entire bloodline has dropped everything to rush to his side as WWE collapses into absolute chaos that no one in the wrestling world ever thought they would witness. This is not just another twist in a storyline. This is a moment that feels like a genuine crisis, one that could reshape the future of WWE forever and potentially alter the very legacy of the greatest champion of his generation. The tribal chief, the man who carried this company on his back through eras of uncertainty, is now fighting for his health in a way that has left the WWE universe frozen with fear. Subscribe right now because this breaking news is something you simply cannot afford to miss. And before we dive into the most urgent and emotional update you will hear, make sure you are standing in solidarity with the most dominant family in professional wrestling history by repping the Roman Reigns OTC1 collection, rocking the USO 4L merchandise, and showing your support through Jacob Fatu's All Gas No Brains gear. Links are in the description. Support the channel, and most importantly, stand with the bloodline during this critical time. Tonight, WWE fans across the globe are holding their breath as alarming reports confirmed that Roman Reigns' condition has taken a drastic and terrifying downturn. After suffering that devastating spear from Braun Breaker at Clash in Paris, many assumed Roman would recover in time, but insiders are now revealing that his health has deteriorated at an alarming rate, pushing him into a sudden medical emergency that has shaken WWE to its core. Doctors were forced to act with urgency when Roman's vitals destabilized, leaving staff scrambling, stars panicking, and officials fearing the worst possible outcome. The entire bloodline has rushed to his hospital bedside, each member reacting in ways that reveal just how deeply this crisis is tearing through the family. Jimmy USO reportedly collapsed against a cold concrete wall backstage, breaking down in uncontrollable sobs as staff tried to comfort him, his cries echoing through the corridor. Jacob Fatu, consumed by rage, began smashing equipment, tearing apart furniture, and screaming uncontrollably, his fury so intense that security struggled to contain him. Solo Sikoa, silent but seething with vengeance, had to be physically restrained after charging towards Seth Rollins' locker room, intent on making someone pay for what happened to the tribal chief. And the most heartbreaking scene of all came from Jey Uso, who was heard screaming in the hospital hallway, his voice raw with guilt, yelling the words, "This is all my fault, I should have protected him," sending chills through everyone who heard it and leaving even hardened veterans in tears. Backstage, the entire atmosphere is one of devastation and fear. WWE superstars are whispering about the unimaginable possibility of losing the man who has been the face of the company for years, the one who led them through injury crises, departures, and uncertain times. Officials are scrambling not just to rewrite scripts or shift storylines, but to hold together a locker room that is unraveling under the weight of grief and uncertainty. Jacob Fatu's uncontrollable rage has already put management on high alert, raising serious concerns about his behavior, while the Usos are so paralyzed by their grief that sources say they are unable to even think about stepping inside the ring. Meanwhile, the tension towards Seth Rollins and his faction has reached a boiling point, as many superstars openly blame them for sparking this nightmare, and the hostility is growing by the minute, threatening to explode into all-out war behind the scenes. The implications of this crisis stretch far beyond one man's health. They strike at the heart of WWE's immediate and long-term future. If Roman Reigns cannot recover, if the bloodline crumbles under the weight of this devastation, then WWE itself could be staring down its darkest hour in decades. The entire structure of the company, from pay-per-view plans to merchandising strategies to global story arcs, is now hanging by the thinnest of threads, and every second Roman spends in critical condition only intensifies the chaos. Fans around the world are flooding social media with messages of support, hashtags demanding justice, and prayers for Roman's recovery, while inside WWE headquarters, the sense of dread grows heavier with every passing moment. This is more than an injury update. This is a defining moment in professional wrestling, one that will either break the spirit of the bloodline or forge them into something even more unstoppable. But for now, the only certainty is that the tribal chief is fighting the most important battle of his life. If you care about Roman Reigns, if you want to stand with him in this fight, smash that like button right now. Subscribe for live updates as this story develops, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single second of this unfolding nightmare. Drop your support for the tribal chief in the comments because your voices matter, and together we will keep this conversation alive as we wait and pray for news that Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the man who defined an era, will pull through this crisis and rise once again. What happens when the health of the tribal chief takes a terrifying turn for the worse? Roman Reigns' condition has just reached a shocking new level of danger, and the entire bloodline has dropped everything to rush to his side as WWE falls into total chaos. This isn't just another dramatic twist. This is a real crisis that could change the direction of WWE forever, and the world of professional wrestling may never be the same again. Subscribe right now because what you're about to hear is breaking news that no one saw coming. And before we go deeper into this urgent update, make sure you're showing support to the strongest family in wrestling by checking out the Roman Reigns OTC1 collection, the USO for L merchandise, and Jacob Fatu's All Gas No Brains gear with the links below. Support the channel, stand with the bloodline, and let your voice be heard during this critical time. The WWE Universe is holding its breath tonight after alarming reports confirm that Roman Reigns' condition has taken a rapid and terrifying downturn. After being brutally speared by Braun Breaker in Paris, Reigns' health had been shaky, but now things have spiraled into a sudden and serious medical emergency that left doctors scrambling, superstars panicking, and fans fearing the worst. The sight of every bloodline member sprinting into the hospital paints a picture of desperation and heartbreak. Backstage, the chaos is impossible to contain as superstars whisper about the unthinkable possibility of losing WWE's greatest star. This situation isn't about replacing a champion, it's about holding the company together in the shadow of a looming tragedy. The tribal chief was rushed into emergency care after his vitals destabilized without warning, and insiders describe the scene as total pandemonium. Jimmy USO reportedly broke down, collapsing against a wall in uncontrollable tears. Jacob Fatu unleashed his fury on anything in his path, destroying locker room equipment in a storm of rage. Solo Sikoa had to be restrained after charging towards Seth Rollins' locker room, blaming him and his faction for sparking this nightmare. And the most gut-wrenching moment came from Jey Uso, who was overheated.